Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Due Diligence Audit. Now we are going to discuss the due diligence audit. Okay, importance of due diligence audit is to confirm that business is what it identify potential deal killer defects in target and avoid a bad business transaction, and is to gain informations that will be useful for valuing the assets, defining the representation and warranties, for negotiating price concession, and it is to verify negotiating price concession, that means a fair exchange deal here. While the two companies are going for amalgamation, merger, etc., or acquisition or takeover. Okay, then is to verify the transactions comply all the loan regulations and investments or acquisitions criterias. Okay, then classification of due diligence. Classification is of seven types. There is a memory trick, which is top life. T for tax due diligence, O for operational due diligence, P for personal due diligence, L for legal due diligence, I for information system due diligence, and F for financial due diligence, and E for environmental due diligence. Okay, so tax due diligence is a separate due diligence, but integral part of financial due diligence, financial status of the company, because in financial statement we take tax, provision of tax, advance tax, etc. So it is the integral part of the financial status. Okay, so generally include in the financial due diligence in practical way, and the accountant has to look at the tax effects of the merger or acquisition. Okay, here you are not auditor, here you are accountant. Okay, so as an accountant, you look at the tax effect of merger and acquisition. Then the operational commercial due diligence is the generally performed by the concerned acquire enterprises, for example whether the proposed merger would create synergistic benefits or not. Okay, then personal due diligence, all the personal policies are in line with the other organization, where the one organization is want to merge with the another organization. So operational organizational structure, personal policies are in line with the other organization or not. This you can this all matters you can check here as an accountant. So, and then next is legal due diligence. Obviously law and regulations are complied or not. Then finally information system due diligence, it pertains to all computer system and related matters of the entity, all computer system and related matters. Okay, nowadays this is most important due diligence, because the importance of this due diligence is increases day by day. Financial due diligence, um basically this is the due diligence which is most important while doing the due diligence audit. Practically the financial due diligence involves all things like the background of the promoters, or a description of a brief description about the history and accounting policies, practices, management information system is correct or not, assets and liabilities as per the latest balance sheet. Okay, you can consider this also, and you can consider the cash flows, you can consider the current status of the income tax assessment, including appeals if pending, appeals pending against the tax liabilities assessed by the tax authority. Trading results, both past and recent past trading results are also be checked here. Then finally one last due diligence is environmental due diligence. That means this is not the external environment, this is the environment where two entities internal environment is one entity is flexible or adaptiveness of the environment, adaptiveness of the acquirer company's environment. So here as an accountant you should check the flexibility and adaptiveness of the acquirer's entity's environment of acquirer entity. Okay, C Limited want to buy the business. What is the reason that I want to take lecture in English because we already take the revisionary lecture in Hindi. But while we are um, write our papers, then the sentences is directly we can say that if more than two or more than three times we listen these lectures and the sentences are going through, so we can listen in this way and we can able to write in this way itself. Okay, so I want to take lecture in English. Second question is, C Limited want to buy the business and appoint you to carry out due diligence audit is to decide the worthwhile is to acquire the business or not. Obviously, you as a due diligence auditor, what do you check? Firstly, you check the brief history. Firstly, you will check brief history of target and background and its promoters, history details, why the enterprise is set up, how it is set up, who is the original promoter of the enterprise. Okay, then the strategies adopted by the target, then the market conditions, then what is the market share of the target company now, at present what is the market share and the changes therein, and product life cycle, and adequacy of resources, product life cycle. Then accountant should make relevant inquiries about the history of the target's business, uh, detailed inquiry, relevant inquiry about the resources. Accountant should make relevant inquiries about history of target's business, product, markets, suppliers, expenses, operations, etc., etc. Okay, so in short, you check each and every aspect that how the target company is operated. Then nature of business, the manufacturer, it is manufacturer, it can be wholesaler, it can be retailer. So what is the nature of business? Then location of the production facilities, warehouse facilities you can check here. Then contract to pension commitments, employments, that is employees, wage scale of the employees level, union contracts, pension commitments to the employees, the government regulations, because if the one country want to tag the another country, sorry, another company, then the all managers, directors, employees even are also um, they have also choice that they can continue with the acquirer entity. Okay, so here it is very important aspect that the acquirer entity is want to know what is the pay scales of those employees in that entity, in the target entity, what is the pay scale, what is the pension commitment, what is the salaries, what is the wage scales of that and that employees. Then history of the business with important suppliers of the goods, services, long term contracts, stability of the supplies, terms of the payment, imports, method of the delivery such as just in time method, or they can delays 1 month. Okay, so franchises, license, intangible assets, you can check the intangible assets of franchises, license, patents, important expenses category, research and development condition, research and development expenses you can check here. Foreign currency assets and liabilities and the transactions in foreign currency is also one of the aspect that as an accountant you can check. So legislation and regulations that significantly affect the entity. Okay, so this all are checked by the accountant while doing the due diligence audit in heading of nature of business. Then finally, then the third point is accounting policies. Obviously, what is the accounting policies? Accounting policies are consistently followed or not, it is not inappropriate. If consistently not followed, then what is the reason to change the accounting policies from previous year to this year? What is the effect of the change in accounting policies? This all you can check when checking the accounting policies. Then review of the financial statement. So accountant should examine whether the financial statement of target prepared in accordance with the status governing target framework for preparation and presentation of the financial statement and relevant accounting standard. If not, the accountant should record the deviations from above and consider it is warrant an inclusion in final report on due diligence. If there are deviations seen, then you tag this matter in your due diligence report. Okay. Framework for preparation and presentation of financial statement. Framework may be DAS, framework may be as, framework may be global accounting standards. Okay, so what is the framework which is used by the target entity? On the basis they make their accounts, they prepare their accounts. Then it is the important to make the evaluate of the profit reported by the target reasons largely based upon its operating results. Okay, then accountant should consider the preferences of if there are any extraordinary items, incomes, expenses, then how they affect the operating results of the entity, how they affect the target entity's results. Then compare the actual figures with the budgeted figures, actual profit with the budgeted profit. Okay, एक्चुअल रिजल्ट को कंपैरिजन करना है बजटेड से. देन टैक्सेशन. टैक्सेशन इज इंटीग्रल component of the financial status. Taxes paying to central government, taxes paid to state government, indirect taxes, direct taxes, provision of taxes, advance taxes. Accountants look at the tax effect of merger and acquisition if they 100% wholly owned subsidiary. If they want to make the 100% wholly owned subsidiary, then there is the some provisions where the exemption is given to wholly owned subsidiaries. So many more other effects is also taken care. So as an auditor, you should check the tax effect of merger and acquisition. Okay, then E point is about the cash flows. Cash flows highlight major trends of increasing or decreasing the cash flows from previous year or past years. And review of the patterns would reflect the cash generating abilities, cash generating sources. This is external sources or internal sources, how they use their fund. Okay, and how well be able to turn the turnover and inventories, how deploy the fund. Are this any fund laying idle? If there is any fund which is idle, they invest it or not, or they able to make the maximum benefits out of the available funds or not. If they make the maximum benefit of the idle funds or residual funds or other funds, so how they make the benefits of the funds, the sources of the cash generate, the sources from where the cash generated is external or internal, etc. You should check for cash flows. Okay, then financial projection, that is estimation. So financial projection, that means next 2-3 years estimation, cash flows, estimated profit. This is the thing where we want to discuss here. So we just discuss where projection for the next 5 years of detailed assumptions, workings, etc. is made by the board of directors now. So as an due diligence accountant, you check what is the projections made by the board of directors. He should also check the given projection is optimistic, pessimistic, or most likely. Okay, so evaluate the appropriateness of assumptions which is taken by the board of directors, sources of assumptions, basis of assumptions they taken for making the projections. Then he has mentioned in this report, he has to mention this: if there is the projection which is provided by the target are not achievable or very aggressive, then as an accountant you should write this factor in your due diligence report. Okay, and you should check the arithmetic accuracy at least, because this is the certain amounts, so you should check the arithmetic accuracy. Okay, then management and employees. The G point is about management and employees. Status of the workforce, staff and employees and their demand is a complex problem. Then how much of the labor force has to be retained, what is the labor turnover ratio. Then important judgments, administration work, administration staff, which matches the requirement of the new incumbents. Due to the complex set of the labor laws, what is the labor laws applicable on that entity, how they comply with the labor laws. Okay, and if there is any litigation or if there is any dispute between the workforce and employers and employees, then what is the litigation, where it is pending, the uh, stages of the litigation. It is important to check this all things also. Okay, while doing the due diligence audit, while checking the management and employees status. Okay, then if all the employees benefit, like all employees benefit also, just the pfi, like pfi, sorry, pf, esi, gratuity, leave encashment, superannuation, this all is also you check na. Assumptions regarding increase in salary, if there is any chances that in next some years they can increase the salaries of the employees, they can increase the interest rate, they can increase the retirement benefits. So what is the condition, what is the assumptions? Then it is also important to consider the pay packages of the key employees. This can be crucial factors in future cost. Okay, ESOP, deferred compensation plan, EVA, and other performance linked pay, sell incentives that have been promised, etc. Key employees who is not continue, most important thing, you should check the key employees who will not continue after merger and acquisition, what is the impact while they are not continuing. Okay, this whole thing you check. Okay, then statutory compliances, here we are discussing the point number H. Statutory compliances, this is one aspect that has to be invested in details. If the company has not been regular in its legal compliances, it could lead to punitive charges, that is penal charges. Obviously, if you are not comply the statutory requirement, statutory compliances, then many more penal actions can be started or can be applied. Okay, by the authority, directed by the authority. Okay, so penal charges, if directed by the authority, what is the penal charges? That is quantifiable factors into the financial results. Then some other points you can check is goodwill, position of goodwill, cash generating capacity, valuation of goodwill, and age of the managerial staff, prospects and their continuing services in new environment, effect of the trained managerial staffs. Okay, then reasons for the sale of business. Okay, most important reasons why they want to sell their business, and what is the what will be effect on turnover and profit if they sell their business. Okay, then hidden liabilities is a aspect which you should check. Hidden liabilities, company may not issue any show cause notice which have not matured into demand as contingent liability. This may be material and important. Okay, so what here, any show cause notice issued. Okay, company is not want to show this factor that show cause notice is issued by the authority. And unfunded gratuity, unfunded superannuation, unfunded leave salary, there is no fund but they want to give the gratuity, leave salary, superannuation. Incorrect gratuity valuation or use labor claims or under negotiations, when the any used labor claims which is under negotiation when the labor agreement is already expired. This is the hidden liability, and the company may give the letter of comfort to the bank, financial institutions, since these are not the guarantee, may not be disclosed in the balance sheet of target company, because this is not, company may given the letter of comfort, and since this is not guarantee, so not disclosed in the balance sheet of the target. This is not disclosed, but they should disclose this in the notes to accounts, but they are not want to disclose it, so it is a hidden liability. Other hidden liabilities is company may have sold some subsidiaries business and may agree to take over, indemnify all the liabilities, contingent liabilities of same, prior to the date of the transfer, and product and other liabilities claim, warranty liabilities or product return liabilities, discount, liquidation damages for the late deliveries, etc. Then litigations which is going on now, and tax liabilities under direct or indirect taxes, pending final assessment of taxes, pending final assessment of custom duties, where the provisional assessment is only completed, where only provisional assessment completed, maybe the final liability is more than the provisional assessment. So provisional, then agreement to buy back the shares is sold at a stated price. Then future lease liability, environmental problems, claims, third party claims, etc. Okay. Then overvalued asset. um, we already discussed hidden liabilities now, so now we take in our discussion the overvalued asset. Overvalued asset is receivables, inventories, plant and machinery. So receivables uncollectible, inventories slow moving or non moving inventories, plant and machinery absolute plant and machinery. Then assets carried on at much more than the current market value. So uncollectible receivable, absolute slow moving inventories, and use packing materials, use inventories of packing material, etc., which is name of the company. Underused or absolute plant and machinery, there is spare assets value which have been impaired due to the sudden fall in market price. Sudden fall in market price, and plant and machinery or other spare assets uh, were underutilized or obsolete, and the assets carried at much more than the current market value. Their market value is very low, but in balance sheet they are showing in on cost. This seems on cost. So the plant and machinery which is undervalued, which is overvalued, or litigated assets, which is maybe that assets are not of the entity, but they shows the assets in the balance sheet, and balance sheet value is increased by that asset. Intangible, any goodwill, patent, copyright, trademark which is not renewed, or which have no any value, but which is seems in the balance sheet. Investment carried at cost through realizable value, and investment carrying a very low rate of income return. The investment which is given a very low return, but the investment seems in the balance sheet. And infructuous projects expenses, deferred revenue expenses, group companies balances, etc. Okay, this is the overvalued assets. Overvalued assets is asset, plant and machinery, absolute inventory, slow moving, and receivables uncollectible, investment low rate of income, etc. Intangibles no value. So work approach to due diligence, renewing work approach. Okay, this is new question now. Review report on the financials submitted by the target company, then assessing the business of first hand by the site visit if applicable, then working through the due diligence process with the acquisitioning company or investor by defining the key areas, helping prepare an offer based on the completion of due diligence. So there is the four approaches. First is review and report on financial submitted by the target, then assess the business first hand by a site visit if applicable, then you visit, then working through due diligence process with acquisitioning company or investor by defining the key area, working through the due diligence process defining key area, and helping prepare an offer based on the completion of due diligence. The sixth dimension of due diligence is define, diagnose, discover, delivery, design, or defend. How to conduct the due diligence? Pre due diligence period. Discussion with the client to gain understanding of the transactions, then assessment of the most appropriate scope of the work, methodology, centralized coordination, then preparation of due diligence report, list of the target specific area, the due diligence process and negotiation phase, working offsite or on-site, regular updation, flexible approach even after the project kickoff, question and answer process with management, report drafting, including the definition of financial aggregation, wording of financial close, and then support for the preparation of the negotiation terms. Closing and post closing process. First is pre due diligence period, then due diligence process, and finally post closing process. The preparation of the review of the closing document prepared by target, PPA assistance and other post closing transition review, then involvement in the price adjustment procedures using the finding of due diligence. Okay, then the last question is content of a due diligence report. Content is executive summary, introduction, background of target, objective of due diligence, terms of reference, scope of verification, terms of reference, scope of verification, object, introduction, background, executive summary. Okay, then brief history of the company, then shareholding patterns, observations on the review, then assessment of management structure, history of the company, shareholding pattern, management structure, observation on review, then assessment of net worth, assessment valuation of asset, assessment of financial liability. So assessment of net worth, assessment of assets, assessment of liability, assessment of financial liability, valuation of assessment of taxable liability, assessment of statutory liabilities, financial liability, statutory liability, taxation liability, contingent liability. Okay, then assess the operating result. This is not the fixed content, huh? This is only guidelines. SWOT analyzes strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. Analyze this. Then litigation, if any. Then suggestions on ways and means, including affidavit, indemnities, is to be executed to cover the unforeseen, undetected contingent liability. Contingent liability. Suggestions and various aspects to be taken care of before and after the proposed merger. Assessment of financial liability and assessment of operating results, assessment of possible liabilities, litigations, legal proceedings. So many more liabilities. Firstly, background, scope, executive summary, introduction, objective, brief history, shareholding pattern, organization structure, then net worth, valuation of assets, then financial liability, intangible assets, taxation liability, assessment of statutory liability, assessment of possible liability, litigation, then other liabilities, then operating results assessment. This only the content of the due diligence report. Okay, so now we are done with the topic due diligence audit. We are continuing with the topic of investigation. Okay, so what is the investigation? Investigation is, what do you understand by investigation? What is the difference between investigation and audit? Investigation, where the auditor is um, giving auditor is give certificate, but in audit, as an auditor, we give our report, not certificate. Okay, scope is different. Investigation is in-depth checking, but the in audit, we only check the we take the sufficient appropriate audit evidence, but here in investigation, we are take the conclusive evidences. Reporting in investigation, we will report to we should report investigation, we should report the authority who appoint us, but in audit, we should report to the we are reporting to shareholders. Okay, so this is the investigation. Okay, difference evidences. Okay, then scope, the scope of investigation is in depth. Objective we already discussed now. Objective investigation is aims at establishing a fact or happening as an assessment, but main objective of audit is to verify whether the financial statement are true and fair or not. Periodicity, the not limited by rigid time frame, may in investigation, but in audit either quarterly, half yearly or yearly. Nature, investigation is detailed study, but audit is involved with checking, sampling techniques, etc. Inherent limitation, no inherent limitation in investigation, but Inherent limitation in audit. Evidences conclusive or prima facie. Then observation of accounting principles analytical in nature, and in audit there is principle accepted account generally accepted accounting principle. Then reported to the persons on whose behalf investigation is carried on. But in audit, outcome is reported to the owners of the business entity. Okay. Then investigation on behalf of the bank for advances. A bank is primarily interested in knowing the purposes for which the loan is required, the sources from which it would be repaid, and security that would be available to it if the borrowers failed to pay back the loan. On this consideration, purpose for which the loan is required and manner in which the borrower proposes to invest the amount of loan. Then schedule of repayment of loan submitted by the borrower, particulars assumptions made therein. Then financial standing and reputation of the business integrity enjoyed by the director and officer of the company. Then whether the company is authorized by MOA or AOA for the MOA AOA to borrow money for the purpose for which the loan will be used. The history of the growth and development of the company and performance during the past 5 years, and how the economic position of the company would be affected by the economic, political, and social changes that are likely to take place during the period of loan. Then, to investigate the profitability of the business for judging the accuracy of a schedule of the repayment furnished by the borrower, as well as value of the security in the form of assets of the business already possessed and those will be created out of the loan. Prepare a condensed income statement from the statement of profit and loss for previous 5 years, showing separately therein various items of income and expenses, the amounts of gross and net profit earned, taxes paid annually during each of the 5 years, and the amount maintainable, the profit determined on the basis of the foregoing statement should be increased by the amount by which this would increases or investment of the borrowing fund. My speed is too slow that you can write it simultaneously. If there is no notes na, so you can make your own notes by writing. Computes the under mentioned ratios separately and then includes them in the state to show the trends as well as changes that have taken place in the financial position. Sales to average inventories, sales to fixed assets, equity to fixed assets, current assets to current liabilities, quick assets, equity to long term loans, sales to book debts, return on capital employed. Okay, so these all ratios you should check separately as an investigator. Here you are investigator, not accountant, not auditor, but the word uses is accountant. Steps involved in the word uses is investigator itself. Steps involved in verification of the assets and liabilities. You already checked the provision, you already checked the purpose, schedule of repayment, etc. But still you should check them assets and the liabilities also. So here firstly you check the fixed assets, then you check the inventory, then you check the trade receivable, then you check the investment, then you check the secured loan, provision of taxes, other liabilities, insurance, contingent liability. Okay, so firstly when we are checking a fixed assets, a full description of each items and its gross value, rate of the depreciation has been charged, total depreciation right of this all aspects we checked here, and decrease and increase in revaluation, what is the revaluation amount, how the revaluation amount is dealt with, and inventory. While we are checking the inventory, the value of the different type of inventory, finished goods, WIP, raw material, this all you should check now, and the basis on which this have been valued. Then nature of composition of finished goods, assessing redundancy, the changes that they have occurred on important items of the inventory and subsequent to the date of the balance sheet, either due to the conversion into the finished goods or sell, or should be considered or not. If any inventory has been pledged as a security for a loan, the amount of loan should be disclosed Okay, so trade, while we are checking the trade receivables, including bills receivable, then only and only the most important check is that type of debt outstanding to recovery, bad and doubtful provision is made or not, and the total amount outstanding at the close of the period should be segregated as more than 6 months and within 6 months. Okay, if not recovered within 6 months, then you should then the entity should separately disclose. If not, then you write in your report. Okay, so investment, you should check the date of purchase, cost of investment, return on investment, then full particulars. If pledge as securities, then full particulars disclosed or not. Then secured loan, debentures and other loans should be included together as separate scheduled against the debenture and each secured loans, the amounts outstanding, payments along with the due dates of payments should be shown. In case of debenture have been issued collateral securities, the fact should be stated. Particulars of the assets pledged or those on which the charge has been created for repayment of the liability should be disclosed. Okay, then provision of taxation, previous years up to which the taxes have been assessed should be disclosed. Provision of taxes not assessed appears to be inadequate, then fact should be stated along with the extent of shortfalls. Then other liabilities is liabilities actual, contingent, correctly disclosed or not. Then analyze the according to the ages of the trade payables, same like trade receivables. Okay, meeting of the obligations in time has not been dependent on the trade credits for the working capital requirement. They are not dependent on the credits or on the loans for working capital even. Okay, even for working capital they should not depend on the loan. You should check now. Then insurance, a schedule of the insurance policies, detail of the risk covered, last premium paid, how much value of the attached with the annexures, statement of assets together with the report as to whether or not the insurance cover appears to be adequate or not. Then finally contingent liability, the making direct inquiries, accounting standard 29 you can refer here. And notes to they disclose the contingent liability notes to accounts or not. Then borrower company, what is the matter of contingent liability, what is the contingent liability transactions covered in the contingent liability, all you should check. Impact of economic position of the company is to economic political changes, those are likely to taken place during the period. Finally the investigating accountant, this is accountant but this is investigating accountant. That was due diligence accountant, it is investigating accountant, should ascertain whether any applicable another bank or any other party has been made application for the loan, another bank or other party has been made, if so the results thereof should examine. Okay, the next question is what are the important steps involved while conducting the investigation on behalf of an incoming partner, that is a firm where you where as an incoming partner you are appointed as investigating accountant on behalf of incoming partner, so you should check the firm's mm, history, inception, ascertain the growth of the firm, study the provisions, deeds, partnership deed, drawing rights, capital contribution by the other partners, retirement benefit to the other partners, job allocations of the other partners, financial management, goodwill of the firm. You all these aspects you should check now. Then you should check this. You should check them records of profitability firm's business over a suitable numbers years, usual transaction, unusual transactions, particulars, any remuneration which is excessive or inadequate to any particular person in relation to the nature of the profitability business, qualification, expertise of the partners, examination of the asset and liabilities of the firm, intangible assets, tangible assets, this all you should check. Profit records, business coverages, this all you should check. Order at hand and the range and quality of the clientels should be thoroughly examined, which the firm is presently operating. Okay, then it would be interesting to study the composition and quality of the key managerial personnel. It is interesting to study the composition and quality of the key managerial employees, likelihood of their leaving organization in the near future. If they are key personnel employees, if they are leaving the organization in near future, then it is impacted the firm na. So you should check this also, this aspect you should check na. Then reasons of the offer of the admission of a new partner, why they want to appoint a new partner. Is there any partner who is want to retire from the firm, or you replace the other partner? Appraisal of the records of the capital employed, rate of return. It is necessary to have the compare with the alternative business avenues. Then manner of computation of goodwill, knowledge about the specialization of the firm. Then special clause, whether any special clause exist in the deed of the partnerships to allow the admission on future of a new partner who may be specified on the concessional terms. Then incomplete contracts, if there are any incomplete contracts, you should check now which will be transferred to the reconstituted firm, liable for loss. Or also worthwhile to remember that the partnership personal considerations be predominantly over other consideration and assessment of a standing of the firm. Mm, Standing and reliability of the other partners, their personal reputation and the goodwill enjoyed by the product services are important. Okay, then on the basis of the broad frame of the consideration, most important line, if this is the service standing firm, the profit business records goodwill of the firm and individual partners would assume greater significance. But if industrial firm, the network of the customer, their scatter size, etc. would be relevant for consideration. Goodwill is less important in industrial firms, but client size, network, customer, this is important. And service running firm, goodwill is important. Okay. Then areas to be covered, investigation. As an investigating accountant, when a company proposes to buy, now Mr. Clean, who proposes to buy a property business of Mr. Perfect, engages you investigating accountant. Specify the areas to be covered. Studying the overall picture. Areas to be covered, investigation. As an investigating accountant is studying the overall picture, then statement of P&L, where turnover, wages, structure, depreciation, managerial remuneration, exceptional non-recurring items, repair, maintenance, and unusual years. Then finally you check the balance sheet. In balance sheet we check the fixed assets, investments, inventories, trade receivables, other liquid assets, idle assets, liabilities, taxations, capitals. Then finally interpretation of figures. Four figures should interpret here: fixed assets, turnover, working capital, and FMP. Okay, in turnover, you check the trend, marketability, political and economical consideration, or competition. So here, studying the overall picture is to manufacture one or more important lines of product, principally processing material, or is concerned only with the sale of a single product. Also dependent on the availability of the skilled laborers, labor incentive, relationship with the management, trade unions, labor relation thus can affect the future profits of the business. Then for studying the economic and financial position, you following should be considered. First is adequacy and otherwise fixed and working capital. What will be the trend of the sales and the profits, whether the profits which the business be expected to maintain in the future years, yield is maintained, capital employed is maintained, adequate capital employed, this all you should check. Then statement of P&L. In statement of P&L, corresponding figures, corresponding items, make a summary of say previous years, 5 to 7 years. Okay, then in this statement you can consider the turnover. Turnover is increasing or decreasing a trend. Turnover, various turnover if individual products from year to year. Order books, if following, then list of the customers in order book. Any several customers which is small in number but they take the use amount, they purchases the use amount from the entity, use products from the entity. Okay, and fictitious sales if find. out, then you should examine the find out the fictitious sales have been centered in an year is to boost up the profit. If so, the figures of sales year to year should be adjusted if the business consists of the activities which is dissimilar in operation, like manufacturing and agency. This is dissimilar. Then between the two sources, expenses should also be appropriate between the separately arrive at the figures of the profits from each of the activities. Then next is wages structure. The method of computing the wages and rates of wages should be examined. Occasions of the business may have to be pay higher wages than those prevailing in other businesses in the same neighborhoods in pursuance of an industrial award. Another factors which is important to consider this connection with the relationship of the business with its workers. Business which has suffered several industrial disputes, strikes, etc. Wage structure is method of computing wages, rates of wages, relationship of the workers, suffered several industrial disputes, strikes, etc. If the business is suffered from, then you should check the working interruptions, frequency, etc. Then depreciation rate of the assets on a annual basis, method of depreciation as this is compliant or not. This all you should check. Remaining useful life provisions of for depreciation is made or not. Leasehold properties, etc. If there is any leasehold property in case leasehold property, etc., then ascertain whether the adequate provision is made or not. Then managerial remuneration. Managerial remuneration is not, it should be verified that the remuneration payable to various members of the managerial personnel is not excessive in relation to the profits of the business. After taking into account the time devoted by the each of them, however, it could also be that number or only the nominal remuneration have been charged in the account. Companies Act 2013 should be followed for managerial remuneration. Exceptional non-recurring items like customary adjustments of the exceptional items, a summary of the statement of P&L in order to that they may not observe the trend of the profit, obscure the trend of the profit. Then materiality and periodicity of the transactions, income tax assessments, etc. on the items. Then repair and maintenance, recurring expenses. It is one of the recurring expenses of a business. Occasionally, it is noticed that the expenditure is unduly heavy in some of the years. Okay, so generally, companies, as a matter routine, as a matter of the routine, under major repairs, overhauls, maintenance program at an interval of 3 to 4 years. Fluctuating charges in the accounts unless periodic major expenses are trends. Deferred expenditures. Besides, due to the wrong allocation of expenses between the capital or revenue, repair charges may appear to be heavy or low. If fluctuating, the abnormal charges for repair is noticed, would be duty of the investigating accountant scrutinize the head thoroughly to establish the correct and normal charge for repair. Okay, then unusual year. Unusual year, a company's record of profitability may show a trend of increasing or decreasing profit or a loss. It may be highly erratic and fluctuating. Unusual year is it is but if the same is fluctuating, in such cases it may even be necessary to consider the results of past 9 to 10 years with a view to iron out the fluctuation. However, it is noticed that result of one or more years under scrutiny were matter exceptional factor like long term industrial disputes, natural calamities, corona, war, revenge, etc. The investigating accountant should eliminate such years from 9 to 10 years to see the trends. Then this all is the factors while we checking the P&L. First is turnover, second is wages structure, third is depreciation, fourth is managerial remuneration, fifth is exceptional and non-recurring item, sixth is repair maintenance, and seventh is usual years. Now we check the fixed balance sheet. Fixed assets, you check the same points: depreciation, revaluation, etc. Then investments, return on investment, current investment, as 13 followed or not. Then inventories, absolute raw material, wages, finished goods, etc. Then trade receivable more than 6 months, less than 6 months. Other liquid assets readily realizable in money. Then mm, only to the extent guaranteed by the deposit insurance schedules schemes. Then idle assets. Example, certain plant and machinery may have put to use after a considerable period of time after acquisition. Some of the fixed assets may be awaiting installation. This is the idle assets. Then liabilities. Liabilities is understated or overstated. So investigate. Important matter to investigate in this regards. Then free reserves included in the liabilities. In either case, adjustment be necessary. Then secondly, it should be ascertained the liability is not unduly large or not outstanding for a long time. Taxation matters, provision, indirect, direct, CG, SG taxes. Capital appropriate or not disproportionately large as the compared to the equity capital. So debenture and the preference share should not be large from than the equity capital. So what is the capital structure, you should check now. You should investigate here. Reasonable compared to the value of the fixed assets. Okay. Then in balance sheet, you check fixed assets, investment, trade receivable, inventories, other liquid assets, idle assets, liabilities, taxation, capital, etc. Then interpretation of figures. First is fixed assets, where replacement of the assets, capital expenditure, uh, amount required for the replacement of assets when this would become out or obsolete. Amount of capital expenditure on the fixed assets, existing stages of the fixed assets, expenditure necessary to replace the obsolete machinery. Okay. Then second is turnover. Following factors you should take into account. First is trend, whether the past sales has been increasing, have been increased consistently, or they've been fluctuating. A proper study of the phenomenon should be made. Marketability, is it possible to extend the sales for new markets? Product wise estimation should be made. Then political and economical consideration, are the policies pursued by the government likely to promote the extension of the market for the good countries, and sales in the home markets are likely to increase or decrease as a result of various emerging economic trend. So trend increasing, decreasing, marketability of new market available or not, political and economic consideration, that government policy is supportive or not. Then competition, whether what is the likely effect of the business if other manufacturers of the same field or its product would come sell in competition. Okay, are placed on the market at cheaper price. Is the demand of the competing product increasing? Is the company's share of the total trade constant or have been fluctuating? This whole thing you check when checking the competition. Then working capital. Second is turnover. Third is working capital. Working capital ratio of inventory is continuing only to the temporary trend. Are the trade payables being paid promptly? There is backlog which will have to be dealt with. What will be the effect of the inventory, trade receivable, trade payables if the turnover is increased or if the new products are introduced. Estimating future maintainable profit. Fluctuations in the profit during the years under review should be examined after adjusting the profits or for extra extraneous factors. Okay. Though estimating FMP, future maintainable profit percentage, has been falling and there is no evidence that the factors reasonable therefore has been ceased to operate, investigate further capital in the business would not be commercially advisable or not, etc. You should check. Okay. So interpreting figure, fixed assets, turnover, working capital, and FMP. Then the next question is major area of examine. Mr. No. Hmm. Hmm. A company engaged in the manufacture of the chemicals is consistently recording the higher sales turnover but declining the net profit since the last 5 years. As an investigator, appointed to find out the reasons of the same. What are the points you would verify? Decline in the net profit despite of increasing the sales, may be unfavorable sales mix. There are different chemical products with the different product merging, where the company sells different chemical products with the different products merging, different project margins, and the product with the maximum PV ratio margin should have a higher share in the total sales. Then negative impact of the financial leverage is interest, etc. Okay, so the company does not have sufficient own funds equity but has a higher debt equity ratio, so interest commitments will be higher. As the volume of the operation increases, higher debt interest charges would result in lower profit. Other items included in sales like sales tax, excise duty, freight, okay, not represented by the real increase. Higher administrative and selling expenses. Administrative selling expenses are generally period cost, which are fixed in nature, and this increase is generally is not the proportion to the sales increase. Then cost price relationship, that is, if the increases in the cost of raw material and labor has not been compensated by the corresponding increase in sales price, this can be a reason. Then competitive prices, cutthroat prices, where sales have been made at cutthroat, that means violent prices. In order to eliminate the competition from the market, the profits would be declining trend, but the sales is higher. Then competitive, then addition to the fixed assets, heavy addition to the fixed asset, that is capital, where heavy addition to the fixed asset, then the depreciation is high, so maybe profit is low. Then the next question is, in a company, it is suspected that there has been an embezzlement in the cash receipts. As an investigator, what are the area that you would verify? Following area we should verify here. First is issuing. Following areas need to be verified. Issuing a receipts to the pay for the full amount collected and entering only a part of the amount. Receipts of the pay for full amount collected and entering part amount, showing a larger cash discount. Adjust a fictitious credit, adjust a cash sales as credit, writing off a good debt as bad, short debiting the customer's account in the ledger, undercasting the receipt side of the cash book, overcasting the payment side of the cash book. So first is issuing receipts to the pay for full amount and showing larger discount, adjusting fictitious credit, adjusting cash sales as credit, writing off the good debts as bad, short debiting the customer's account, undercasting the receipt side, overcasting the payment side. This all is the factor where embezzlement of cash receipts is gone. Okay. Then write short note on the fraud through the supplier ledger. Fraud through the supplier ledger is adjusting the fictitious or duplicate invoices as purchases. Duplicate invoices as purchases in the account of the suppliers, then suppressing the credit notes issued by the supplier and withdrawing the corresponding amount, not a claim by them. Withdrawal amounts which remain unclaimed more than the normal time limit for one reasons or other by showing the same have been paid to the parties. Accepting the invoices at the price considerably highest than the market price and collecting the excess claim from the supplier directly. Withdraw amount which remain unclaimed for more than normal time limit for one reason or other by showing the same has been paid to the parties, and accepting the invoices at prices considerably highest than the market price. The other is while you investigating the embezzlement of cash receipts, you can check the investigation of the suspected embezzlement of the cash receipts. While doing investigation suspected cash embezzlement of cash receipts of a departmental store, you would like to take the mention steps. What steps you take before processing of investigation suspected embezzlement? The investigating accountant should ascertain the exact duties of the person concerned who is suspected to have the committed a fraud, his relation to the general routine of the office, and he should examine the line of responsibility between the various members. He should have a look at the system of internal control in operation of spotting out weaknesses of the internal control, excessive control in the hands of a single person, diverted assumptions that the cash may be diverted before being entered into the books, and evidence as regards the income received from the different sources should be scrutinized. Inventory, sales, rentals, registers, etc., and the carbon copies of the receipts marked duplicate should be scrutinized to the confirm that are in fact copies of the receipts issued earlier. By recalling the paying in slip from the bank, the details of the cash deposit on each day should be compared with those shown in the cash book. Then record of the sales of scrap of waste paper, that of the collection of the rent from the laborers temporarily accommodated in the company's quarter, that refunded of the amounts deposited with the electric supply company. And government authorities should be examined, finding out it may be the amount have been misappropriated. Then cash sales should be vouched in detail, and recoveries from the customer and sundry parties should be checked with the copies of receipts issued, cross check, and deductions made account of the cash discount be reviewed. Then withdrawal from the bank should be checked by reference to the corresponding entries of the bank passbook. This all you should check. Then 210 to 230 Companies Act 2013, investigation into the affairs of the company, investigation. Okay, some other points from module, from study material. Steps in investigation: determine the objective, establishment of the scope of the investigation, formulate the investigation program, then collection of evidences, then analyze the interpretation of findings. So first step is objective of the establishment of the scope of investigation, where the matter, period for which the investigation taken place, then formulate the program, circumstances के according program banana, then collection of evidence, conclusive evidence. Obviously it is investigation, so you should take the conclusive evidence, you should collect the conclusive evidences. Analysis of interpretation of findings. Okay, finally you should analyze the findings, and in a step 5 you reporting of the findings. You analyze the findings, then finally you report the findings. As report should be in paragraph form, report should be spell out the nature and objective of the assignment accepted. A restriction on limitation which is imposed by the management you should mention in the report. Then special issues of investigation. What is the special issues? First is whether the investigator is required to undertake a 100% verification approach, or whether he can adopt the selective approach. Then whether the investigator can put reliance on the already audited statement of accounts or not. Then whether the investigator necessarily requires the assistant of expert or not. This all is the special issues of investigation. Then investigation out of the disputes and conflicting claims. Then basics of the opinion of the investigator. The investigation out of the dispute and conflicting claim, that means if you are investigating and merger and acquisition, and the exchange ratio decided by the entity is right or not, this is the this should be checked by the investigating accountant. Basics of the opinion of the investigator. Basic of the opinion of the investors: whether investigators can make a futuristic statement, no. Whether to retain working papers or not, working papers may be retained. Then investigation for valuation of the share of the private company, net worth basis, yield basis. This all is the points which we already discussed in goodwill, etc. So we can write the points, we can able to write. Okay, finally fraud for the personal gains, bribery, illegal or dishonest actions. Then decision in the favor of the giver, there is also relative contractual frauds. The auditor normally conducted a propriety audit over the veracity of the transactions and review any undue favors to vendors. Corporate frauds, this is the personal fraud. Now we are on corporate frauds. Corporate frauds is advance billing, shell dummy company schemes, money laundering activities. So shell dummy company scheme is represents a fictitious company or paper company, fictitious bills, diversion of the funds, falsified by wrong classification of expenses, inflating the expenses, fictitious expenses, multiple reimbursements, uncovering expenses, prima facie is not incurred. Okay, then account advanced billing, booking fictitious sales, misrepresents the revenue, and misleading the financial and stakeholders, mislead करना. Then fraudulent act gets unnoticed for an extended period. Shell company, false vendors, diversion of funds purposes. Okay, then fraud at operational level employees. Three types of frauds. Now first is personal gain, that is bribery. Then corporate frauds, that is advanced billing, shell dummy company, money laundering. Then fraud at operational level employees. First is tampering of check draft, online payment receipt, tampering of check pay name, being altered, pay name altered, preparation of check without issue of the check to the pay are method that may also be lead to falsified of accounts. Online payment is considered a transaction mechanism to prevent the above frauds. Okay, फिर offline frauds. If offline frauds, the fraud preparator misappropriate the cash before these are recorded in the books or before the sales is recorded in the books. Unorganized market, especially in unorganized market like rural economies where banking habits are relatively underdeveloped, this type of fraud seems more. Then fraudulent schemes based on the circumstances, customer balance, etc. Then cash misappropriation, shortage of cash. Then teaming leading fraud, being overlapped with the collection. This is also achieved through the cash deposit or checks collected from the customers being overlapped with the collection from the subsequent customer, and amount collected diverted to the personal accounts, and aging receivables is not constant, and therefore the makes the task of identifying the leakage of the collections unless the customer account are reconciled in a single point of time. Fraudulent disbursement, issuing submission of the false and personal expenses bill converted into the official expenses. Then expenses reimbursement scheme, employees may get reimbursement by the third parties as well as by the claiming their expenses from the company, uh, those employees which is not appointed, and multiple expenses claims based on the duplicate bills. Payroll frauds is the fraud where inflating the manpower resources than those actually deployed. Process requires a detailed review, a statutory declaration findings over various labor laws, statutes, including disclosures of the financial statement, benefits such as PF, gratuity. Commission scheme, salesmen exaggerated the sales through the fictitious billing to earn the higher commission. Alter the sales provision. Payroll scheme where the non-existent employees, but they pay the employee. Then finally, procedures for investigation of fraud. What is the procedure for investigation of fraud? Before proceeding to investigate fraud of the type Efron mentioned, the investigating accountant should ascertain the exact duties of the persons concerned, inquire the management in promising avenues, single person have no more excessive control, etc. You should check here. Okay, so here due diligence audit and investigating audit is now completed. Thank you very much.